Greetings, friends, and welcome back to Backyard Astronomy with Gemini Brett, where we are following the moon. It is Wednesday, miércoles, Mercury's Day, September 11th, 2024 at 7:43 p.m. and I'm recording from my backyard in Richmond, California. Following the moon. So where is she? Well, behind my midheaven tree. Why do I call this the midheaven tree? Because, my friends, that tree is due south. And that means south, which separates east, that goes up from west, which goes down, is where my local midheaven lives, the place of culmination. Well, the moon is so low right now that you can't climb over the tree. So walk with me here. I'm actually going to find a new midheaven spot, one that offers a view for these low out-of-bounds moons. So I was just wondering where I could stand in my yard to place the midheaven in between all of those trees. So sorry, you're just kind of bobbling around. I'm learning as we go here. I want it to be here, just because I'm standing on like a slate stone. Okay, so what it is it's one leg on that stone and one leg on my patio. Although really, we gotta come over here a little bit more. Okay, so I happen to know that I will never see a planet lower than that. Because right now the moon has just ingressed Capricorn, or is just ingressing Capricorn, has just ingressed Capricorn, literally at 0 degrees and 3 arc minutes of Capricorn right now. And the moon is right on the midheaven right now. So I'm getting that, by the way, from a chart and the Astro Gold app on my phone. I could use a astronomy app like Stellarium, which I'm actually going to open right now. And Stellarium will show me that in my local position, currently the moon is due south. But of course, the astronomy app's not going to tell me that the moon's right now at 0 Capricorn, which is a shame because that's about as astronomical as you can get, or at least Earth-stronomical, as we've been talking about in the previous videos of how low the moon and such, and moon going out of bounds. The southern extreme of the ecliptic, or of the sun's path, the heart of the zodiac, is the Tropic of Capricorn, about 23.5 degrees south of Earth's equator terrestrially, and the celestial equator celestially 23.5 degrees. Why? Because that's the tilt angle of Earth, right? The tilt between the equator, our rotational axis, the plane of the day, and the ecliptic, our orbital axis, the plane of the year. Okay, but as we've been discussing, moon can go another 5 degrees south of the ecliptic plane, a little bit more than 5. So on my astrology app right now, and the astronomy would show me this too, I see that the declination of the moon is 28 degrees and 40 minutes south. Well, the 23.5 degrees solar extreme really is 23 degrees and 26 minutes, all right? So right now at 28 degrees and 40 minutes, I can see that the moon is 5 degrees and 14 minutes further south than the sun can ever go. And this is out of bounds. And of course, in the northern hemisphere like this, like in California, the sun's ingress Capricorn means the lowest midday sun of the year, right? So the longest midday shadow of the year, because the midday sun is lowest, right? The shortest day of the year, winter solstice, right? Well, the moon is dropped another 5 degrees beneath where the sun can be. So I don't know if it's going to show up in the camera, but at my arm's length, 3 fingers like this above the moon would show me where the midday sun is. And I mean, interestingly, what I could just see is it's like this lowest branch right here. Now, an issue of using trees for your stone circle is that they grow, right? So we need to be sensitive to that. But, you know, working with a flagpole, or, I mean, unfortunately, the tallest poles in the neighborhoods these days typically have really bright street lamps on them, right? So we want to be careful there. But I can show you how working with the midday shadow, or I can just tell you, If you have the sun at the midheaven, at the sun conjunct MC, that means the sun is either south, that's northern hemisphere, or north, that's southern hemisphere. I should just add a little caveat. Between the tropics, if you live between the tropics, some days of the year sun will north at midday, and some days of the year sun will south at midday. If you live north of the Arctic Circle or south of the Antarctic Circle, you have times of the year where you don't see the sun at midday, okay? But to speak temperate locations, southern hemisphere, south of the Tropic of Capricorn, the sun norths every day at midday. North of the Tropic of Cancer on Earth, the sun souths every day at midday. And the moon souths halfway between moon rise and moon rest. You can hear my hesitation there, and I don't want to fill in the gap of why. That's not exactly precise. Anyway, so this is the lowest moon at the midheaven I will ever see. Literally, this is it. We're seeing it together. I'm so glad you're here with me. And we've learned a new place, or I've just found a new place in my yard where I can work this space between the trees to describe the midheaven, which is really nice because typically I work with that pine tree from where we started this video, and I can't when the moon is this low, and I can't see much of the scorpion or the archer through that tree, which invites me to try one other place as well, because a thing I'd love to show you from this place, and it's just not really dark enough yet, is that if I'm looking south, of course I could turn around and find North Star right behind me, right? Because in our day and age we are fortunate enough to have a pole star in the northern hemisphere, a star Polaris that is so closely aligned to the North Celestial Pole, where the North Pole of Earth is pointing, so the center of the sky's spin. And I'm not going to turn the camera around, I'll just tell you from here we wouldn't be able to see Polaris because the house is blocking Polaris from our view. So we're going to try one other place here. And we can play with this a little bit tomorrow as well, where actually it will be darker out. So what if I work with this smaller tree as a midheaven tree, or work with one of the fence poles? I mean, the issue with the fence poles is there's a lot of landscaping and whatnot. But this is a, where I'm standing now, it's a pretty good space in our yard. Like, it's pretty easy to mark and to return to this place. And now, I mean, this is a very big tree, right? But if I'm just working with kind of the middle of that tree as my midheaven, that's convenient. Look, when in a couple of weeks, when the moon's in Cancer, Tropic of Cancer, the highest degree of the northern hemisphere experience, right? And moon will even go 5 degrees further north than there. She's out of bounds. I mean, we're gonna have to like look way up here, okay? Oh, hello, Vega. But for now and for the remainder of this week, this would probably be a good spot for us to work with in regards to learning a few things about how to see the houses. So why not, in this follow the moon journey, why don't we also learn a few things about how the houses of the heavens work, and how to learn to see the astrological angles in the sky with your eyes. Speaking of the sky, let's see, I can bring in a little bit more light, and maybe you are able to see a couple stars here. Maybe not. Yeah, I think we're going to do a part 2 today. I'll let things spin. That thing beneath my feet with me on it called Earth, so that the sky spins a bit more, so that the sun sinks a little bit deeper beneath the western horizon. But while we're out, why don't we just breathe into the beauty of Venus. It's been a bit since we have seen Venus together. Too much light over here. Alright, so now you see evening star Venus here above Mount Tamalpais. I think that's going to look better if we drop this down a bit. And the fig trees. You know, it's an interesting truth. There was this curse that the crow of the heavens, Corvus, would never be seen when the figs are ripe. And that's quite true. The figs are ripe on the branches right here, and Corvus is under the beams of the sun. So much earth astronomy and these starry stories of old. All right, well, we'll be out here in a little bit for part 2. See you then, friends.